Hi Aries. There's dogs fighting over there. Been trying to start the video for about 5 minutes. They've been fighting the whole time. Oh boy, what an energy to tap into. Sudden revelations of woundings, interruptions, changes of plan. Murphy's Law type of stuff emotionally, whatever could have gone wrong, did. Why is our reading so late? Why didn't you hold our hand through that first part where we were so emotional and feeling so needy? Because this is all about healing, and the healing starts, well, everything fell apart after that just now, so let's try that again. Okay, the Fool. Yes, it is a time that requires a lot of bravery to heal in such a revolutionary way, to go so deep, to have Uranus there, just merciless, to have Neptune close by, merciless, and then Chiron in your sign. No, it is not an enviable place to be. Gemini season has made people quite eloquent with their criticism and quite sharp. And you may be feeling very much like you are alone. And it doesn't matter what risks you take because nobody is paying any attention. And the only time they seem to pay any attention is when they want to criticize you, or want to be harsh with you, or want to fight with you. Other than that, you can't seem to really connect. But connecting with self has been easy and painful. Easy in that the conduit is open, and painful in how harsh the realizations have been about others, but this is mainly about you. It is a time of accepting what we know to be our nature, and also accepting what we've allowed to change us, what we've allowed to make us less authentic, what we allowed to take away from us. If that has to do with the water sign, it's coming up as particularly painful. Someone who has water placements that you feel has wronged you, has taken from you, stolen from you, lied to you, betrayed you, whatever version of that. But it's also about this upcoming Cancer season and how it's going to expose so much of that Five of Swords energy. And then the Four of Swords comes flying out. Yeah, it is about resting. It's about facing your hurts and facing the reasons for that hurt, and then being able to rest in the knowledge that what you've realized about yourself and about people around you is what it is. And you can't fight the truth anymore after Gemini season. Cancer season will take you into a place of not only being accepting of these new truths, of these new revelations where the pain has been hiding, but also there's a resignation to the truth. Like, okay, yeah, you're right. This thing or that thing, no, that's just not gonna work. Or that thing I really wanted to do, I need to rethink that. It's okay. Not an easy time to guide anyone through. It is so incredibly personal. It almost feels like peering in on something that you shouldn't be allowed to see. And that's probably part of the hesitancy when a sign is going through a deeply personal time. Do you look into the energy, and then how do you interpret what you see? Because you'll never be able to see it the way you guys are experiencing it. The closest I feel like I can get is this, Targaryen example of everyone being pretty upset at how Daenerys' character arc turns out in the end. But, the House Targaryen, their motto is fire and blood. It's not surprising that in the end she would live up to those characteristics. And yet, can you be upset with someone for being who they obviously are? That's a lot of what this season is about for you. And even going into Cancer season, for a lot of you, that means realizing the futility of a Virgo situation, which a lot of people are doing. It means realizing. So that's either a Virgo that you're finally realizing things don't work with, which is happening for a lot of people, or it's you shining that light in your own Chiron cave and noticing that there's a lot more cups in there than you would like, and realizing that you're tethered to a lot of feelings that are just there because you haven't processed them. So the process of processing with Chiron, as we know, is very messy. A lot of Pisceans have voiced their feelings that they feel like Chiron has never left. Well, it's because there's a wave of sailing coming in, as we've spoken about before, and they're pushing all of that to you, and you feel that push, but so do they. So if that King of Cups is a Pisces that you feel has betrayed you, one could even say it's not their fault. If you feel like the Virgo is leaving you or has emotionally already checked out, one could also say it is their season to do so. Ace of Wands, and like many readings, when the Virgo leaving comes up, the Ace of Wands seems to follow, because in that leaving is a great opportunity for you. The Virgo card leaving is also about the healing being complete, and after the healing is when you get the opportunities. So perfect. So after the realizations, after the going into the cave, after the jumping off the cliff, after the rest comes the opportunity. When? Mid-July. There was just no rush in the reading because the first few days were just going to be you being really upset. And not about anything that can be mitigated, not anything that can be in any way, spun to make you feel better. They're just hard personal truths. And, they touch on how you feel about you, how you feel about others, how that's communicated. It was a moment, high priestess moment, of stepping back and being able to see, as is most of Gemini season. It's about stepping back to move forward and stepping back to get that perspective so you can see where in love, but also in ambition in life, how you have been holding yourself back. And that's not always the easiest thing to learn. And many times it may have come up as a reflection within someone else who you're like, wow, you're betraying me, or wow, is this happening right now? Well, it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. What parts of you are you betraying? What parts of you are you not being authentic to? What parts of you are you unable to layer over yourself and see for what they are, and see how they hold you back without taking it personal, without getting upset, without wanting to, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Everything is just, okay, fine. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But Chiron's not letting you get away with it. And that's new for you guys. You'll have time to get used to it. But for now, you're not used to it. Talk to Pisceans. They'll tell you how the past few years have been. And now you're asked to take on that same mantle, the high priestess, of stepping back and saying, okay, you know what? I agree. I don't know anything. Show me. And with the Ace of Wands comes even more opportunity, because you may not like it and you may not want to hear it, but Chiron is only making room. And it will only take away what is not good. It only takes away infection and disease. It's not going to take away anything needed or beneficial. So That should be some solace, even though you may not be able to perceive it as such. That's still what it is. And yes, it's got you feeling moody, and it's got you emotional, and it's got you weepy, and it's hard. It's hard to see things about ourselves. It's hard to have such a me-focused month, but it all seems so negative. It's not negative, it's revelatory. And in it will be, one second, in it will be the fortune you want, as long as you keep your eye on it and don't let it slip away. Don't let it slip away by getting too focused on self. Don't let it slip away by taking it too personal. It's not an opinion, you know? It's your truths being shown to you, by you, through your connections, through people you've chosen to have around, through people you've chosen to tolerate. Every one of them has become a mirror for you and for your priorities, for your ethics, for your morals. And that can be staggering when what you see around you isn't all that great. But it should make you, at some point in June, look around and go, wait a minute, you know what? I can totally change this. I'm realizing where I am a party in this. I can see how these choices are my responsibility, and I want to make different ones and better ones. And why are we always, whenever we're asked this, why are we asked to do this? Because it's, you know, it's a culling. It's a burning of the field. You have to level things out to start again. And for a lot of you, Chiron being in your sign is about emotional honesty. And that can mean breaking everything down and starting again. That's okay. You know, I really don't feel like you guys want to talk anymore. Let's see here. Yeah. Page of Wands in reverse. You're like, fine, we get it. Okay, let's look at the cards. It's very edgy. Let's look at the cards together. It'll be good. It'll be good. I promise.
Hi, Aries. Well, I did the first part yesterday, and then, as has been happening for a couple of days now, I got like a really bad stress headache. It's happened a couple of times before when I tried to do your reading, and I just kept avoiding doing it because I could feel the headache creeping up. And as soon as I was done with your reading, I felt it coming on. I did the Taurus reading. It went away for a little bit. I came back to pick up doing the second part of this reading, and boom, it got me like this. And I understand why. For a sign that is externally directed, outward, this much internal work is like your brain being put in a vice. It expects from you progress that cannot be viewed from the outside. Progress that can only be internal. Progress that has to do with your subconscious communicating with your conscious. Being able to recognize the concepts only by first taking the risk to communicate where your betrayals are, where your feelings of loss are, who is still tied to you by these feelings of loss. Who do you have tethered to you through that thread of pain? And it's so clear that you have to put down some swords. In fact, all of them. And I hear and I feel the pain. I feel the pain. It's very palpable, because going this inward with the ferocity and direction of a cardinal fire, it's whoa. And delving deep into loss, abandonment, wounding, our greatest woundings, Aries, are all in the realm of somehow being outside of the group. We have survived through the millennia by sticking together. Ostracization, being cast out, being banished, being left, being abandoned, being disregarded, being neglected. Someone filling your cups with lots of feeling and then walking away irresponsible, leaving you alone, is what our nightmares are made of as a species. So the fact that this is what would come up and out of you, with Chiron dancing now here, right? With Jupiter in Sagittarius, and today the moon in Leo. I mean, today that Chiron placement you have is kicking. You cannot see the forest for the trees. You cannot at this moment grasp how vast this black hole is that you have to dive into to come to the necessary realizations and abundance that seems so far away right now, and yet it's truly not. It just, there's so much pain that has to be acknowledged and moved past. Now, acknowledging the pain isn't difficult for Aries, but for a sign that likes to move, you guys sure have trouble moving on. You're just so stubborn. I'm not sure if it's because you think if you hang on, you'll get a chance to fight it out, you know, somehow expend that energy of hurt, or you'll get your chance at some sort of protracted revenge, which is, you know, not really your style, but something. June, but more so, because this reading is timed the way it is, June and July. June, right into Cancer season, this like right before Cancer season hits, is about not letting you get away with it. Emotionally, it wants to drag you to the point where you let go. Now, if you're thinking, I've let go of this person or that person already, I can't let go anymore. For a lot of you, this may not be a person. For a lot of you, this is a concept. This is something that you refuse to acknowledge as not good for you. This is something you have tried to get away from before. Could very easily be an addiction. Regardless of what it is, Chiron wants to show you why. And Aries has a tendency to take things personal. But it wants to show you why, not because it wants to point out your flaws, but because it wants to help you thrive past them. There is a certain ceiling, Aries, to how much success you can have, to how far up the mountain you can go, while still carrying all of this weight. Chiron lightening your load and taking from you may feel like your skin is getting ripped off, but it is aware that your higher destiny is to reach that mountaintop, and there's just no way to get there like this. Of course, as soon as the letting go is allowed, great insight, great opportunity, great abundance rushes in. But look, it's very clear you wanted the reading, but you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about this. I'm probably the only person that can talk to you about it because I don't know the specifics. There is a shame in this here somewhere. And let's speak to that. Because Aries, check it out. The first card out is the best card in the deck, as far as I'm concerned. It's a clear heart. You're doing okay. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know right now everything feels like a jab. But you can't lose sight when your flaws or your woundings are pointed out, or your part of your woundings, let's say, the part you have to become accountable for. That never means that you're being discounted as a person, that you are just being thrown away. And you guys have a tendency to take it that way. And you can get real upset and real in your feelings. And I'm not diminishing your feelings. I can feel the pain here. It's obvious. In the Taurus reading, you come up as Emperor and Nine of Swords. I get it. The pain is very real. But you have to let someone put that pain in context for you so you can move past it. You can't go all upside down every time someone points something out that you know is true. Oh, but it's true, but I don't need to think about this. But you do. But you do. You do need to, because obviously there is a limit here that you keep bumping your head up against, and it's like you can feel it, but you don't see it, so it's fine. But no, your destiny is much bigger than that. And if you don't think this toxicity is going to come back around as soon as you have a little more coin in your pocket, you crazy. And what does that toxicity want to do? What it always wants to do: waste your time. The lessons don't change, they just get easier. And then once they get so easy that they're not lessons anymore, then they change. But we'll look at that in the extended right now. Listen. You guys probably more than anyone else need to hear this. But we started putting some numbers below. I'm sure you've heard this before now. I've talked about it in every video. If you have any numbers that you would like to contribute, please do so below. I will include the suicide prevention hotline. There's a couple for a few other countries. Please comment below and include those as well. This is a community. We love you. We care about you. We are deeply concerned with how you feel and how connected you feel or disconnected you feel. Just know that there are resources available to you at all times if you feel like speaking to someone about nothing, about everything, about the weather. It doesn't matter. Depression and suicide often have to do with a feeling of disconnection, a lack of connection. So if you feel like there are people out there who genuinely love you, like we do, I do. I don't have to know you to love you. You'll realize this the first time you run into me somewhere, because you'll be able to feel it. I love you. And this community, we love each other. So you're a part of this and we love you too. But if you need more than that, and everybody does, there are resources all around you, like people will mention in the comments, that are there to support you, protect you, listen to you, not judge you, and just give you a safe space. So please, if you need it, if you really are going through it, don't hesitate to use resources that are there, set up by good people who genuinely want to help. If nothing else, just to give you that feeling that somebody out there cares. Because I assure you, this is a dip that is followed by an up. And I know it's hard to see that sometimes. But you will move forward. And we would like for you to be around for that. All right? I love you. I'll see you in a second. All the stuff will be below. That's my stomach rumbling. Sorry. I need to eat something.